Hello, welcome to Child Abuse Awareness with Darlene J. Clark. This is one caring community. We strive to get the stories out there. It happens too often. Please like, subscribe, share. Thumbs up helps get the stories out there even more so. Hello there, it's good to see you. How are you doing there? Good to see you. Are you back on bucket list as well? I see two people here. Hey, I'm going to start off with the banners. I usually love doing those. There's reasons behind it. In Matthew 18, verse 6, but whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and they were drowned in the depth of the sea. We need to know that we need to learn to do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed, take up the cause of the fatherless, plead the case of the widow. Evil men understand not judgment. They that seek the Lord understand all things. Copyright disclaimer under section of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. I'm going to show this at the bottom of it. If you think you are a victim of sexual harassment by a landlord, property manager, or rental agent, you may contact the Justice Department at 1-844-380-6178. Without further ado, I'm glad you're doing good. You're welcome. This is a continuum of Randy Hames, Cullman, Alabama attorney, sex charges dismissed and a court case resolved. But it's not resolved with me. It's really not resolved with me. I am angry about it. I am glad that some of the victims had got paid monetarily wise, but this registered sex offender, he needed to be claimed as a sex offender instead of all the charges dropped. I'll start off with a couple of the older news to get some people in line with where we're at today. Yes, we will. But I don't think he's going to live that much longer because he is 80 something years old. See, this where he was charged with human trafficking again for the second time, okay? At Cullman, Alabama. And the weird thing is, when they charged him the second time, he was still doing his law practice. So in the courthouse, they did not strip him of his legal degree. An Alabama attorney faces additional charges of human trafficking just weeks after being arrested on similar charges. Cullman County Sheriff Matt Gentry says Randy Allen Hames faces new charges of first and second degree human trafficking. The 75-year-old Hames was arrested Saturday and released on bail. The Cullman Tribune said Hames was arrested February 22nd and charged with stalking and promoting prostitution after two women complained that he asked for sex in place of rent payments. He was arrested and charged on March 5th, this was 2018, with two counts of human trafficking in connection with that complaint. Authorities have not said whether the latest charges relate to the same victims, but they did, because I have got the PDF of it. Sheriff's Office spokesman said prosecutors decided to move forward with the trafficking charges after reviewing the case and speaking with victims. So I will get next. I'll go to the PDF so I can show y'all about what was going on. Yep, we will. We will continue to talk about him for sure. Welcome, everyone. Please hit the thumbs up. So this is where in 2020, United States versus Hames. United States of America plaintiff versus Randy Hames and Hames Marina, DBA Hames Marina and Mobile Home Park. Defendants were Tamika Bartlett and Kayla Carricker, plaintiffs versus Randy Allen Hames. Candace A. McGowan, Lacey K. Danley, Wiggins Childs, Patantas Fisher, and Gopar, Birmingham, Alabama. Robert Champ Crocker, R. Champ Crocker, LLC, Cullman, Alabama, for plaintiffs. Joseph E. Stott at Harrington, PC. Kyle T. Turner, Norma Wood Kendrick and Turner, Gregory F. Yagme, and Yagme Law, LLC, Birmingham, Alabama, for defendants. Linwood Smith, Jr., Senior United States District Judge. And it says Candace A. McGowan, Lacey K. Danley, Wiggins Childs, Zanis Fisher, and Garbar, Birmingham. We'll go by that for that, okay? There's the memorandum opinion. Linwood Smith, Jr., Senior United States District Judge. It says this was decided April the 3rd, 2020. These consolidated cases are before the court on a motion filed by defendants Randy Hames and Hames Marina doing business as Hames Marina and Mobile Home Park and asking the court to enter an order protecting Randy Hames from being required to submit a deposition until such time to the criminal charges that are pending against him in the Circuit Court of Cullman County, Alabama, are concluded. They did not want a deposition from him. Wow. See, the perpetrators get more rights than whatever. See, document number 35, motion for protective order. United States of America versus Randy Hames. Civil action, specifically the motion states, nota bene, unless otherwise noted, all document numbers cited in the order will refer to the numbers imprinted upon pleadings listed on the docket sheet for the first of these consolidation actions. See, I told y'all before the marina, that's got to have its RV park too. It's not just the marina he owns. Also owned a RV park over there where they all park. Lots of victims out there probably that never came forward with him owning a marina. Y'all, if y'all know anybody who stayed there, please be brave enough to get the person to stand up and get this guy known out there. I cannot believe with everything that he's done, he is not a registered sex offender. Defendant Randy Allen Haynes has been accused of various acts of sexual harassment and misconduct as the owner and operator of Haynes Marina and Mobile Home Park, located on Smith Lake in Cullman, Alabama. See, when I recently went to Cullman, I just got back from Alabama last night. A friend of mine lives on Smith Lake. And so I told him about Randy Haynes and owning, a mobile home park. And he told me about the Hames Marina and RV. I looked it up and I was shocked to know that there's more to do with that property. So he does an RV area too. He got the whole marina. Look at all the people he's in contact with. This cannot just be these 15 different women. There's got to be other people too. As a result, he has been criminally charged with human trafficking by the state of Alabama. In addition, has been sued by Tamika Bartlett and Kayla Carricker, collectively referred to as the private plaintiffs in civil court, as well as by the United States government for violations of the Fair Housing Act, in addition for the exact same acts. As discovery proceeds in the civil case, the plaintiffs and the government are now pressing for the deposition of Randy Hames, despite an order by Judge Putnam in a private plaintiff case that requires leave of court before a deposition notice can be issued. Defendant Haynes seeks protection from having to appear for his deposition in the civil case while defendant in a parallel criminal case because he cannot assert his Fifth Amendment right without completely abandoning his defense of the civil cases. The adverse interference of asserting his Fifth Amendment privilege will be completely fatal in this case. Therefore, he seeks an order protecting him from appearing for deposition while the criminal case is still pending. I can understand all that, okay? So I can understand all that. There's the procedural history, and we go on and on. And right here, where the government commenced the first of these actions on July the 9th, 2018, its complaint asserts claims against defendants Randy Haynes and Haynes Marina, LLC, doing business as Haynes Marina and Mobile Home Park under Title 8 of the Civil Rights Act of 1968 as amended. There's the number there, the Fair Housing Act. The government alleges that Haynes Marina is a residential real estate company that owns and manages property in Cullman County. Such property included at least 15 mobile homes that are leased to various individuals. But remember, he didn't have a lease agreement with a lot of people. That way, he could break the lease when they didn't do what he wanted. Randy Haynes had ownership interest in Haynes Marina, possessed the authority to act on behalf of the marina, and was responsible for the management and operation of the subject property. And Randy Haynes violated the Fair Housing Act by subjecting female tenants of the mobile homes to discrimination on the basis of sex, including severe, pervasive, and unwelcome sexual harassment, which he never got charged for. It just said harassment. He needed to be noted as sexual harassment. And when he even exposed himself to that 17-year-old, that minor, why was more not even brought up against that? Why did the charges get thrown out? More specifically, the government alleged that Randy Haynes' unwelcome sexual harassment included such acts as the following: demanding that female tenants engage in or pressure them to engage in oral sex or other sexual acts with him to obtain or keep rental housing. And yes, he evicted them if they did not do that, y'all. If they did not, then subjecting female tenants to unwelcome sexual contact, including but not limited to hugging female tenants, touching or attempting to touch female tenants' bodies, and rubbing his body against female tenants' bodies. That he offered to grant tangible housing benefits such as reducing or excusing rent payments, late payments, or deposits amount in exchange for engaging in sexual acts with him. Making intrusive, unannounced visits to female tenants' homes for no apparent legitimate purposes and to further his sexual advances. Yeah, so he just welcomed himself into these people's trailers. He just went on in. He didn't care. Menacing female tenants by repeatedly parking for extended periods of time in front of their homes when he had no apparent legitimate reason to do so. Making unwelcome sexual comments, propositions, and sexual advances to female tenants, and taking adverse housing actions such as evicting or refusing to make repairs or threatening to take such actions against female tenants who have objected to his unwelcome sexual advances and refused to engage in sexual acts with him. So this kept going on and on. Words go that it had similar claims under the Fair Housing Act, as well as 5 supplemental state law claims for invasion of privacy, intentional infliction of emotional distress, the so-called outrage claim, assault and battery. So he actually assaulted them too. Violated violations of the Alabama human trafficking statute. So this goes on and on. Yes, blackmailing too. After private plaintiff sought protection from abuse by Randy Haynes, he was indicted by a Cullman County jury on charges of human trafficking in the first degree in violation of Alabama Code, human trafficking in the second degree in violation of Alabama Code, sexual extortion in violation of Alabama Code, solicitation of prostitution in violation, and stalking in the second degree. Why was a lot of this other stuff thrown out of court? See, then there's a C document number one, private plaintiff's complaint. Y'all can get these cases out there and you get the case documents, get it out there on YouTube. Get more of the information. There is a case number. There's a complaint number. There's right there. Defendants contain that as a result of the pending state criminal charges, Randy Haynes is entitled to a stay of his deposition in these cases, both individually and as representatives of Haynes Marina. They argue that the complete overlap of facts girdling the plaintiff's claims in his consolidated cases and the pending state criminal charges constitute special circumstances requiring a stay. So I get back out of this right quick. And now we'll go over to this. Here is the culprit right here. See right here what they did right here? Cullman County Haynes on trial in federal court following, see, it was dismissal of local human trafficking charges. This was January the 31st, 2024. The sorry excuse for a human being. He was a lawyer as well. The local attorney, Randy Allen Haynes, 81, yes, he's 81 years old today. On Monday went on trial in federal court in Huntsville on charges of violating the Fair Housing Act by making unwanted sexual advances and demanding sexual favors in lieu of rent payments from 15 female tenants, including at least one minor in his Smith Lake area, Haynes Marina, and Mobile Home Park. If y'all remember us doing a story, what it entailed about that minor, she was living with her sister in one of the trailers. He wanted to talk to her about, since she was 17, about maybe renting her own trailer. So he went and got her and took her to another trailer in which he pulled down his pants and tried to get her to perform oral sex on him. Next thing you know, that he goes off to another room, probably the bathroom. I just know he went off to another room. Then she went running and ran back home to the sisters for safety. A few days later, he evicted the minor from the sisters' trailer, all because of the fact that she rejected his sexual advances. Why is he not charged with doing this? She is a minor. That means he is a pedophile. That means he is a predator. He scoped out women that was basically, I think it said 22 and under, if I'm not mistaken. And with him having the marina, which there's plenty of swimming places around that area, how many other victims that might have parked their RV there during the vacation time or keeps their RVs on that property? Dohane was arrested in February 2018 and again in March 2018 by the Cullman County Sheriff's Office on multiple charges of human trafficking, sexual extortion, solicited prostitution, and stalking. Haynes was later additionally charged with two more counts of human trafficking for allegedly demanding sexual conduct in exchange for the said Randy Allen Haynes providing favorable testimony or report while they said Randy Allen Hames was appointed as guardian ad litem over the said victim's name omitted children in a termination of parental rights. What? So you're telling me possibly that he might even had, oh man, he was guardian, maybe ad litem over that 17-year-old? Please tell me that's not true. Please tell me he was not her guardian ad litem. Please tell me. Oh man, please tell me. Whoa, whoa, whoa. In termination of parental rights action, the federal charges currently in court were filed in July of 2018. His guardian ad litem, so the guardian of a minor, knowing she was a minor, knowing all that, knowing that he's a lawyer, knowing he knows better about all this. But we see this over and over again, so many people getting away with this. Hames' local cases were moved out of Cullman County after all local judges recused themselves due to their professional relationships with the attorney. The government alleged in the federal case that Randy Hames violated the Fair Housing Act by subjecting female tenants of the mobile homes to discrimination on the basis of sex, including severe, pervasive, and unwelcome sexual harassment. Exposing yourself, excuse me, that's more than just discrimination. Pervasive, unwelcome. You expose yourself. Is there not a criminal sexual crime against that? For him pulling his pants down? Oh, man. Demanding that the female tenants engage in or pressure them to engage in oral sex or other sexual acts with him to obtain or keep rental housing. So we know there's been some women just to be able that they knew that they would be kicked out that did that. He forced her to do that. It's the same as rape. Subjected female tenants to unwelcome sexual contact, including but not limited to hugging female tenants, touching or attempting to touch female tenants' bodies, and rubbing his body against female tenants' bodies. This is more than harassment, people. These are actual sexual acts. I do not know why they dropped those, but they did. There's the settlement, which I will see in a little while, but still, he is not being prosecuted on any of the sexual acts, just the harassment because of the fair rights, tenants' rights. Offering to grant tangible housing benefits such as reducing or excusing rent payments, late payments, or deposit amounts in exchange for engaging in sexual acts with him. That is prostitution. Why did they drop all that kind of stuff? Making intrusive, unannounced visits to female tenants' homes for no apparent legitimate purposes and to further his sexual advances. Menacing female tenants by repeatedly parking for extended periods of time in front of their homes when he had no apparent legitimate reason to do so. Making unwelcome sexual comments, propositions, and sexual advances to female tenants. Taking adverse housing actions such as evicting or refusing to make repairs or threatening to take such actions against female tenants who have objected to his unwelcome sexual advances and or refused to engage in sexual acts with him. According to the original federal complaint, the government is asking the court for a decision that declares that the defendant's discriminatory practices violate the Fair Housing Act as amended 42 of the USC 602 etc. He enjoins the defendants, their agents, employees, and successors, and all the persons in active concert or participation with them from discriminating on the basis of sex, including engaging engaging in sexual harassment in any aspect of the rental or of a dwelling, interfering with or threatening to take any action against any person engaged in the exercise or enjoyment of rights granted or protected by the Fair Housing Act. I'm sure none of them wanted to mess with a 70 something year old man. I'm sure of that. They're in their 20s, some of them teenagers. How many other kids did he mess with? And they might even paid off the parents to not prosecute. Miller refused to take such affirmative steps as may be necessary to restore as nearly as practicable the victims and defendants' past unlawful practices to the position they would have been in but for the discriminatory conduct, and failing or refusing to take such affirmative steps as may be necessary to prevent the recurrence of any discriminatory conduct in the future and to eliminate as nearly as practicable the effects of the defendant's unlawful practices. Awards monetary damages to each person agreed by the defendant's discriminatory conduct under there. Excessive civil penalties against the defendants to vindicate the public interest under that statute. Award such additional relief as the interest of justice may require. So, in November 2023, in an agreement signed by the defendant, Alabama Deputy Attorney General John L. Cullman, Alabama Assistant Attorney General Michelle Davidson, presiding Shelby County Judge Laura M. Alvis, and Hames defense attorneys John Berry and Brandon Little. Hames pleaded guilty to misdemeanor harassment in all four human trafficking cases. He pled guilty to misdemeanor harassment. Why don't they have human trafficking right here? Why is that not a felony? All felony and sex related charges were dismissed. Y'all see that? Read that again. All felony and sex related charges were dismissed. Is that not the reason why this happened? Does that not anger y'all? All felony and sex related charges were dismissed. While Haynes received a 30-day sentence in the Cullman County Jail on each harassment charge. The sentence was then suspended, and Haynes was released on 2 years on supervised probation and no fine, in which he kept doing it. In the plea agreement, Haynes agreed to the permanent surrender of his license to practice law. Haynes' trial continued Wednesday. What's wrong with the picture, y'all? They agreed to let it, so he did not get nothing for doing the sexual acts. They just got it as harassment charge against him. That's all. So I'm going to go here to this is where the Justice Department secures agreement with Alabama landlord to resolve claims of sexual harassment of female tenants. But see, they worded this wrong because it's because they went like they did all the charges against them. But it was sexual harassment. And this was February the 2nd. So this is recent. I hope that y'all put the thumbs up and share this because this needs out there. This dude, please, y'all, if y'all know of anybody that stayed at Haynes RV Park, get the word out, please. Please. Got to be a lot more victims who had stayed there and got. This guy really needs prosecuted. The Justice Department announced today that it has reached an agreement with Randy Haynes, an Alabama landlord who owned and managed rental properties at a mobile home park in Cullman, Alabama, known as Haynes Marina, to resolve a Fair Housing Act lawsuit alleging that Haynes sexually harassed female tenants. It's just under the Fair Housing Act lawsuit. That's it. That's all. Under the agreement, Haynes will pay $390,000 in damages to 13 women who rented or sought to rent homes from him and a civil penalty to the government. Okay, I'm wondering if it would be good if each woman got 390,000, then he'll pay out of wazoo because he needs to pay out of the wazoo. And it's right here where it's got Haynes will pay and sought to rent homes from him and a civil penalty of $10,000 to the government. So that one's a little bit different. So we'll go over here. The Justice Department announced today that it's reached an agreement with Randy Haynes, of the Alabama landlord who owned and managed rental properties at a mobile home park in Cullman, Alabama, known as Haynes Marina. But see, they need to know more that he also owned an RV. Why did they not got that in there too? Because he also, you know, under this agreement, Haynes will pay 390,000 12 women who rented or sought to rent homes from him and a civil penalty of $10,000 to the government. Okay, over here, did we not read that it was, sorry, 13 women? See, which one of y'all is right? It don't matter which long as he got to pay, right? Y'all need to get it together. One of y'all got 12, the other said 13. But we do know that there were 15 involved, 15 ladies. The agreement also prohibits Haynes from managing rental housing or contacting any of the women or their families. The agreement comes after a 3-day trial during the Justice Department's presented compelling evidence to a Huntsville, Alabama jury of Haynes' long-standing harassment and exploitation of female residents and protective tenants and the impact of Haynes' conduct on these women and their families. Today's resolution recognizes the significant harm that the defendant caused to the women in this case and sends a message that this type of behavior is unacceptable and has no place in our communities, said Assistant Attorney General Kristen Clark of the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division. The Justice Department is firmly committed to rigorously pursuing landlords who sexually harass and exploit their tenants. Thank you for doing that, Department Civil Rights Division. Thank you. But still, go after him where he gets prosecuted for his sex crimes. He needs to go to jail. Sexual harassment by landlords is illegal, immoral, and unacceptable, said the U.S. Attorney Prim Escalona for the Northern District of Alabama. We will continue to aggressively prosecute these cases because everyone deserves to feel safe at home and thrive in an environment free from fear. Well, how can they thrive in an environment? Because guess what? He's still out there and he's not registered as a sex offender. Excuse me. That means he could still, even though he might not have rental property, that does not mean he's not going out violating some other people. The Justice Department's lawsuit filed in July of 2018 alleged that since at least 2011, Haynes subjected female tenants and prospective tenants to a continuing pattern of egregious harassment, including demanding or pressured female tenants to engage in sexual acts with him in exchange for rent or to prevent eviction, evicting female tenants when they refused his advances, making female tenants feel unsafe by stalking them and entering their residences without permission and making unwelcome sexual comments. See that at least 2011, See, started so when he was 70 something years old back in 2018. So he was in his later 60s then. The case was brought as part of the Justice Department's Sexual Harassment in Housing Initiative. The initiative, led by Civil Rights Division in coordination with the U.S. Attorney's offices across the country, was launched in October 2017 and seeks to raise awareness about and to address sexual harassment by landlords, property managers, maintenance workers, loan officers, and other people who have control over housing. Since launching the initiative, the department has filed 38 lawsuits alleging sexual harassment in housing and recovered over 11.3 million for victims of such harassment. If you think you're a victim of sexual harassment by a landlord, property manager, or rental agent, you may contact the Justice Department at 1-844-380-6178. And I got this down in the about section underneath this video. So it's got this information there so that you'll be able to use it. And oh, I'm going to click on that and do that one later, but I'm not going to go there yet. Okay, come on. Let's get over here. So anyway, under this, let me go further down here. Yeah, it's still got that right there. And then it said the Fair Housing Act prohibits discrimination in housing based on sex, race, color, national origin, religion, disability, and familial status. More information about the Civil Rights Division and the laws it enforces is available at www.justice.gov/CRT. This is such a disgrace. I'm disappointed in the state of Alabama. It's kind of funny because this happened in Huntsville, Alabama, where they prosecuted and they dropped the charges of the sexual. Remember where I told y'all in my story? There was an Alabama state trooper and we met at a library in Alabama. Guess what? That was in Huntsville, Alabama, where that state trooper and I met at the library to discuss genealogy research. He had a lot on my family because he had a similar surname as I did, but we did not see any connections to each other. Thank God. Thank God that I was not related to that family. Remember, he's the one that subjected me, his father did, and a lot of the child pornography. And I hope I did put in the earlier comments, you might could go back. I did put a link to where I shared my story the other day. The link is above in here to where you just copy it and you paste it and you go to that link and it should take you square to my story. Then when you go there, there is a button at the top. It's got a play arrow. You click the play and that's how you can hear it. Without further ado, I will be doing another story shortly. Um, I am going to. Did you see? Y'all did see this. Um, I hope I didn't shut the storyline out. Did I show y'all the files, or did it not show the files, Jackie? I think y'all did see it. Y'all can still see the files, right? Y'all can still see my screen. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, y'all can still see my screen, right? And this is what's going to happen next. And I want to tell y'all this is what harassment is at the Cornell Law School. Harassment refers to words or behaviors that threatens, intimidates, or demeans a person. Harassment is unwanted, uninvited, and unwelcome and causes nuisance, alarm, or substantial emotional distress without any legitimate purpose. And so we're fixing to do a story shortly about this 17-year-old at the time, and that he had raped a 13-year-old girl in Scotland. So please tune into that. And then tonight I'll be talking about doing this Randy Hames story on my blog talk radio right here. Shattered Innocence News. Attorney Randy Hames in Cullman, Alabama, to say the crimes. And there's a call-in telephone number for people to call in. I guess y'all can see that. And if y'all had trouble getting to the thing, all you got to do is call that number in, and you can listen too. Whether you want to speak or not, you still call in and be there and listen. That's a way to do that as well. And I thank y'all for coming. Which part? What part did you wonder? Okay, so like I said, you can go to the link. I got it in the messages prior, but I don't know if it's going to show. But so I'll go ahead and share it in here. Paste and Coleman, Alabama crimes. That's what I'll be doing tonight. Be talking about that and see the way you could actually. So people that has trouble going to that link, you can actually call in, and there's a number right here that you call into, and you don't have to talk if you don't want to. If I say yes, who is this at this area code? They rather just listen, and then I'll respect that and let you just listen. So you don't have to speak if you call into there. So, but like I said, this is what we're fixing to talk about. This outrage as a man walks free after raping a 13-year-old girl in Scotland. And then I got a little bit of more info on that as well. And then we're going to get with that next. Thank you so much. And I'll say God bless y'all. And please get the word out. This is a sicko that owned Hames Marina and RV in Cullman, Alabama. He messed with a lot of young girls and young women, evicted them if they did not do his sexual advances. There's probably a lot more victims out there. It was in the later 60s, probably in 2011. It's in 2018, and it's like 75 years old or so. We get the word out there. We got to be hyper vigilant. Please hit the thumbs up because it's hard to talk about, hard to discuss. A lot of people say, "You're not shy." And I go, "Oh, really? I really am." Know me in person, I'm a little shy. Okay, well, thank y'all so much. God bless y'all.